Welcome to the Latin Wealth Podcast, a podcast dedicated to educating the Latino community about entrepreneurship, investing, and business.
Yo, what's going on, Latin Wealth family? Welcome to another episode to the Latin Wealth Podcast. Very excited about today's episode because we got another phenomenal guest on the podcast. And before we get into introducing our guest, just a quick reminder, please share this episode with 2 to 3 people that need to hear this conversation or need to hear the Latin Wealth Podcast. And with that being said, our guest for today is a Houston-based entrepreneur, engineer, and brand builder. He is founder and CEO of Grind Basketball, which they have created the first portable basketball shooting machine. And he's also appeared on some extremely popular shows like Shark Tank, and was recently added to Forbes 30 under 30 list in the sports category. Welcome to the podcast, Thomas Field. What's going on, bro?
Man, appreciate you having me. I'm excited.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I love it.
How you doing today, bro? How you living?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed. Family's good. Excited to be here to talk about, building, wealth, generational wealth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I'm doing well.
100%. So we're going to get into your story and your brand and the products and all that. And before we do that, you're a hooper. So I got to know, growing up, who was your favorite team, your favorite basketball player? Like, who did you look up to? Who did you model your game after?
So, man, I'm an old soul. I loved, I started hooping when I was like 7, but I think my modern player that was hooping at the time was Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
So I had hair, I had braids and everything. So AI was my guy. After AI, it was like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson.
Okay, throwback.
Yeah, I was always watching. Like before school, I was going to middle school at the time, and like before school, I'd eat breakfast and watch like NBA classics.
3
or something like that.
Yeah.
And basic cable, I was like, I was glued to it. So I was like constantly studying Magic Johnson. Who else? Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas. I like guards. I like creative players. So if I noticed that somebody was like really great at what they did, so like Magic was like an amazing passer, and the Bird was just like shoot the shit out the ball. I just love the fact that they just went so deep into it.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, I just liked it.
Yeah, 100%. And it's crazy to see how far the game has evolved. It's completely different. It's like, I be feeling like an old head when I'm like, I remember when I was young watching Kobe AI, and it's completely different now. But yeah, me growing up, it was Kobe all day. That's who I studied. That's who I wanted to be like. You being from Houston, also love Steve Francis and T-Mac.
He was tough.
Yeah.
He was tough.
So
I did like those guys. But yeah, man, I don't know why. Like my best friend, he loved Kobe, and I don't know. I just never gravitated to Kobe because I couldn't see myself becoming 6'6".
Got you.
It's like AI is my guy.
Yeah.
But I want to take how to shoot from Bird, and that's like Magic. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like studying how Isaiah Thomas like worked the floor.
For sure. No, I love that.
Yeah.
So you said you mentioned you started playing basketball when you were around 7 years old. Talk to us about your background, you growing up in Houston, and your journey into where you're at today.
Yeah, man. I mean, I grew up on the north side of Houston. Family never came from like big means. So we were always like a lower working class family. Basically grew up on North Main. On my grandma, I was just riding bikes with my cousins, going to the store, and just, kind of kids in the hood, just like, trying to make it out. You know what I'm saying? So it was a very humble beginning. I kind of fell in love with basketball when I was 7. I remember being at grandma, I was just trying to like between my legs and stuff like that, and finally got it. And then I made the team at school, and then I was always trying to like overachieve for some reason. So I tried out for like the 8th grade team when I was in 7th grade. And then I would study like those players that I was talking about. Like, what did Magic do, right? And I knew Magic was like playing for the high school team in 8th grade or something like that. Or one of those old school players was like, that was their story. So I was like, man, let me try to, I was always like researching their stories. right? I was always like a story-oriented person, even when I was little. So like I was always trying to like craft my story.
Interesting.
When I was little.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. And yeah, man, I ended up playing on the 8th grade team in 7th grade. I was doing really good. Then 8th grade year, playing with 8th graders, I hit 40 points. So I was like, oh shit, like try to hit varsity freshman year.
Yeah.
I hit varsity freshman year. And man, from that point, I was just like, let me try to make to the NBA, right? And you know, I don't care if I'm only like 5'10", 5'11", like I'm gonna shoot for it. And yeah, man, like I think I started becoming ranked, and I was pretty good in the city of Houston. You know, I was top 100, top 50, top 25 in the city of Houston in my class. And then 10th grade year, I tear my ACL playing on my second game of the season. 10th grade year, I tear my ACL, and I was just like, dang, like, you know, all that time, all that work, you know, just basically came to a halt. So it sucked. And then I think at that point, just being in love with the game, I was kind of devastated that I couldn't hoop anymore. And at that time, ACL tears were like kind of looked at as like career ending.
Yeah, for sure. Especially like in high school when you may not have the medicine, the doctors and all that, the trainers to get you back.
Yeah.
It could be
we didn't have no,
for sure.
Yeah, we didn't have no doctors, or like I obviously went and got surgery and stuff, but like I didn't have like specific, you know, okay, do this, you know, 3 times a day and stuff like that. Like I had rehab on my knee to get walking again, but optimizing my performance was not a thing. Or it was just extremely expensive. Then I just did the free trial, like 1-day thing, and that was it. Like, I couldn't afford it. So, and it always stuck out to me. It was like, damn, like I really want to make it, but we don't have the money to like get the best of the best performance in the training and stuff like that. And yeah, man, it was really devastating for me mentally and physically, emotionally. So I just went crazy when they were on rehab. Like I just went dumb. I was like doing 1,000 push-ups or something.
Wow.
Every day.
Wow.
You know, staying up 5 o'clock in the morning. Like I was working out at like 10 at night, and then I'd like take a nap and then wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and work out, and, you know, try to wake up at 5 or 6 and work out. I was just, it was not like healthy. Right. I came back swole and I was good and better than ever. Started dunking actually, and then I came down from a dunk wrong and tore my other ACL.
Wow.
That was junior year. Then from there, I mean, rushed my rehab and tore my ACL like 2 more times before graduating high school. So, I mean, throughout the whole time, my school had bought a shooting machine, and we had a new coach at high school, and he had raised money to purchase a machine, and he never let me use it. Like I was up at the gym 5 o'clock in the morning, and he's like late. He's like, sorry, I'm not gonna make it or whatever. So I just never had access to the shooting machine like I wanted to. I really felt like there was no companies out there trying to solve my problem. Like, yo, as a kid that doesn't come from a lot of like money, doesn't have a lot of resources, like, you know, there's these things that exist that could help them, but, you know, no companies like really trying to push it in that direction because they don't see opportunities or, you know, market or whatever, right? So I want to change that, right? I want to build like a company. Like, imagine if Nike was from the hood and trying to create products for kids like me. That's what I want to do.
100%.
And I'm gonna call it Ground. So that's where I start.
No, I love that. And so, listening to your story a couple of different times, reading about you and whatnot, when I heard that you said it was 3 times you tore your ACL?
4. Yeah, so I tore the ACL like 3 times or 2 times, and then the other 2 were like meniscuses, but like 4 surgeries overall.
So when I heard that, and to see where you're at now, it's just like, it's incredible. I don't know if you're spiritual or anything, but when I seen that, I was just like, man, God's redirection for your life can just need protection for you.
Absolutely.
And we don't realize that in the moment. We're like, yo, what's going on? I'm trying to hoop. this is what I want to go on, but like he got a bigger plan for you. He got a way bigger plan for you. And I absolutely love what you're doing, because growing up, people of color, boys of color, like our way of getting out is hooping, or sports,
yeah,
or even if you want to get into entertainment or something like that. But for me, it was the same thing. And if you don't make it as a hooper professionally, what's next? A trainer. You know what I'm saying? It's not any nod to that, but those are like the two routes as an athlete, right? But we never take a step outside of that and think about, okay, well, there's products out there. There's basketballs, there's shooting sleeves, there's different things that we use on the court. How come we can't create these products, right?
And not only that, but like as I've gotten older and met just people that come from like completely different neighborhoods and completely different worlds from me, like they grow up understanding what being a banker means.
Talking about it, yeah.
They know that what
100%.
that was, you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't introduced to that. Or being an engineer, like, oh, I know what that means, like a petroleum engineer or a mechanical engineer, electrical, software engineer. Like we just don't grow up like understanding.
No, 100%.
Because our parents don't understand, and their parents didn't understand that, and that's not what they are comfortable with, not what they do. So, you know, that inherently comes down to the kids, and it's like, oh, we're just not introduced to that.
100%.
So it is what it is.
So it's funny that you said that, because when the first time I understood and knew what the word entrepreneur meant was like when I was 20 or like 21. I never knew what it was but you got to be exposed to it, you know?
Yeah.
Read about it, you know what I'm saying? Or like some type of exposure.
Absolutely. And I think that like I want to use my platform or entrepreneurship kind of route to almost use it as like a platform that like scales opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. So if you think about like one opportunity, right? Like what I'm trying to build is like, how can I scale opportunities for kids, right? At scale, like worldwide, right? So like creating a brand that first they trust and feel like is authentic and speaks to them and is dope, right? That they want to be a part of. And then second is like introducing them to STEM, engineering, science, technology in a dope way. Is kind of like the second step. And then the third step is like, all right, how did they actually get into this thing? And I think like, we'll talk about it later, but like Grind Day is kind of like a perfect.
Yeah, we'll get into
that
for sure.
Going back to the story, man, like
talk to me about Grind, because I know the shooting machine, that thing is like gold, bro. If you see one of those at your gym, you're like, this could, you know what I'm saying, really help me out a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So like, again, I didn't have access to that gym. My coach never let me in the gym 5 o'clock in the morning. So at the end of the day, I was just like, where's the company designing products like, you know, for kids like me that's affordable and accessible, right? Like I didn't have a home court in the backyard, but I had the park that I was always going to. So if I had a shooting machine, I would want to like just put it in my backpack.
Set it up there.
And just go anywhere with it, right? Go to my grandma's house and hoop, and go to the park and hoop, and go to the 24-hour fitness and hoop, go to school and hoop, just take it anywhere, right? So that was the concept behind the first product. So I came out and went in my parents' garage, and I was like, it's the first portable, affordable shooting machine. And it's going to be our flagship product as a brand. I went in my parents' garage, called my boy Zay. He was going to welding school at the time. I was like, yo, Zay, I need your help. You know, weld this metal together. And he came after work, and, you know, he started teaching me how to weld.
Talk to us about these prototypes, because you mentioned that you went through hundreds and hundreds. I mean, how do you even begin to start building something like this? And talk to us about these different prototypes. Were some of them like, at some point, did you feel like, oh, I almost have it, and then it just turns left? Or like, talk to us about that.
I mean, I think like the African American and Latino community, they understand like this is a part of us. Like we build shit all the time.
100%.
Like we'll build a chair or something, like, just out of necessity because we don't have it.
We don't have it.
So we'll just build some shit, and if it's not perfect, then we just fix it. Right? And it's ugly, and it's prototype, whatever you want to call it.
But it works.
But it works, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we just, we're naturally, we have that ingenuity in us and that creativity to build things. And whether it's with food and experiment, it's the same thing.
100%.
Throwing stuff in there and figuring it out, tasting it and trying it again. And I got that from my mom. I got that from my dad. Just my dad was a music producer, and just seeing how
create
beats and all kinds of stuff and create. That was a part of me. Seeing my mom just like work on the house all the time and work on the yard and stuff like it's just a part of me. You know what I'm saying? And that iteration was just in my blood. So whenever I had my sights set on this product, it was just like, all right, let me just do what we do, and it's like start, try to do something, but it ends up like, all right, that don't work. Let's scrap it. Let's cannibalize this and, redo it. And it just kept going. I turned on my music and just locked on. And it's out there for hours, go through a couple prototypes a day. And you look up and like, God damn, I went through 200, 300 prototypes.
That's crazy. So talk to us about the final prototype. When you looked at it, you're like, okay, this is the one. How did you know that was the one? And how did you feel? What was that moment?
Yeah, I remember the day, man.
Cause I'm thinking like I'm picturing you in I don't know if you've seen Iron Man, but the first one when he making the Iron Man suit, you trying to figure that out. Like that's how I'm picturing you.
But I was just wearing basketball shorts and slides.
Yeah.
Like I remember, like I'd put together goals, and I did a lot of reading. So I was like trying to be, very, scientific and business minded with it and structured with it as much as I could. So I was like, all right, milestone number 1 is just get it passing, right? Pass the ball to the 3-point line or the free throw line first. So let's get it there. And that was like milestone number 1. So we iterate until we got there. And I remember whenever it was me and two of our other engineers, one of our first engineers with us. And man, I think we pressed the button, and we had 2 actuators at the time. It was like a trebuchet kind of mechanism. Put the ball there, and it passed the ball. And we were like, oh shit! You took pictures and video and all that stuff, but it was a cool moment. I think we had lunch that day. It was just like,
we had to enjoy this.
Yeah, let's just go get some canes or go get some food, tacos or something.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, we finally got it.
Yeah.
And at the time, we're in it was a free startup accelerator. It was my first one. It was at U of H. Okay. And we had a pitch competition. So I would go up there, pitch, and like 500 people in the audience. But I really wanted the prototype that was working. And it was like right before the show when we got it. Got it passing.
So I know you brought up canes. I know at this time you were working like 3 different jobs to fund this thing and get it going and all that, right?
Yeah. So I worked at a car wash, and it was like a graveyard shift. So I would clock in at like 8 p.m. It was my cousin. My cousin put me on. Shout out Nick. We'd go in the car wash when the car wash closed, and we'd go in the trench of the car wash, shovel out all the mud. I worked at Cane's during the day, YMCA for the morning shift. So I had
just to fund your dream.
Yeah, absolutely. So
and I love that.
It was just, at first it was YMCA in the morning, and then grind, and then I had to get another job. So it was YMCA, Cane's, and then grind. Then I think I quit one of them. I think I quit the YMCA and Cane's at that time, and then had the car wash job because it paid more than both. And, that was fun to grind. So it was just like, man, everything was like, that was the goal. Maybe I'm on milestone number 3 at that point. I'm like, whatever I got to do to get that milestone done.
Keep going.
Yeah, just keep going. So
you got the final prototype. You guys go to Cane's, you celebrate a little bit. What's next? Like did you have a plan after that, or were you just focused on building a solid product? What was next?
Well, the idea is always to build, like, sell the product.
For sure.
Right? Like, and the milestone 1 was get it passed, and milestone 2 is finish the whole product, right? Milestone 3 is actually launch the thing, sell it. But once you do start selling it, now you got to produce them. Now you got to find a manufacturer. Now you got to make sure you have customer support set up, and so you can service all these customers. You got to figure out warehousing and fulfillment. You got to figure out the software piece. You got to figure out every funding. Is almost endless amounts of things that you do to, like, that big goal that you have as, like, a business or, you know, company, entrepreneur, whatever. It's almost never ending.
Yeah. And as you're going through this process of, like, never ending tasks of things you got to do, how are you feeling? Is it, like, exciting? Is it daunting? Or how are you feeling in this process?
I think it's definitely, like, you know, my boy, we talk a lot, and he's our trainer at Grind, and I always tell him that, like, I never get high, I never get too low. I'm always kind of, like,
in the middle,
neutral.
Yeah, neutral, yeah.
Yeah, no matter what happens. If we're on Shark Tank, I'm just like, maybe I get a little, you know,
yeah.
But I never deviate from, like, right here. I'm never like this. It's just my personality. So if something amazing happens, maybe I'm up here, right? And maybe I'm, like, right here and we go out to eat or some shit. But, like, I'm never, like, head over heels, just, like, blindly happy, you know? And I know some shit can easily hit the bottom. And to me, it's all about staying grounded and like, hitting that, like, generational wealth, you know, building something for my son and my son's sons and my future kids and my mom and dad, and, you know, just, you know, wealth that's undeniable, right? That kind of what we all dream of. So until I hit that, and maybe even whenever I hit that, I'm still not gonna be, like, way up there
for sure.
But I think the feelings are always up and down. Like, some days are better than most, like Big Crit said, you know. And it's just, you gotta, like, you know, regulate your emotions and, you know, stay persistent and stay dedicated. But some days were great, some days were bad, some days I was frustrated, some days I was happy, some days I felt accomplished, some days I felt defeated. At the end of the day, you know, you wake up again and keep going, you know, and just
that's very inspiring. And I know in the midst of all you being persistent, you grinding, you working on your craft and whatnot, if I'm not mistaken, your wife applied for you to be on Shark Tank. You brought up Shark Tank earlier. Talk to us about that process and that journey of being on Shark Tank, where your episode was aired and whatnot. I'm curious to know about that whole.
So while I was in the garage working, she would come over, girlfriend, obviously, right? And she applied to Shark Tank behind my back. Didn't tell me.
Oh, she was your girlfriend at the time?
Yeah.
I mean, she was a winner.
So she applied to Shark Tank and never told me anything. And then, you know, maybe a year goes by or so, and, you know, she's like, hey, check your email. You got to Shark Tank. Or she was like, did you see it? And I was like, what were you talking about? She's like, Shark Tank. I was like, what? How did I find out about it? She's like, I applied, like, a long time ago. I honestly forgot.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So I went through the process of, like, interviewing, and, you know, we're still trying to, like, get ready for launch. I think at that point we'd launched. So we're scrambling to, like, produce unit.
Yeah.
So we're like,
have something. Yeah.
Like, trying to get 200 parts from manufacturers, and we're at this point we're assembling them ourselves in the United States. So it was chaos, man. So I went through the interview process, and thankfully after 7 interviews, I get
7 interviews.
Yeah, it's like a 6-7 interview process, and then they're like, all right, cool, you're in. We're gonna fly you out to LA or Vegas. At the time it was Vegas. It was the middle of 2020, so, like, quarantine with, like, full effect. You know, COVID was a thing, and I had to quarantine for 2 weeks in Vegas and go out and bitch. So,
that's crazy.
Get ready, man. And thankfully, honestly, I think those 2 weeks and like during quarantine were, like, that was my
Your time to lock in.
Yeah, my time to lock in.
Yeah.
I had nobody.
No distraction. Yeah.
It's like a suite like this.
No, that's big.
Like writing all my pictures on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like I had panels of windows, and what I would do is I would write my introduction on this window, the middle of the pitch on these windows, and then the closing part of the pitch on this window, right? And then I would just walk around the room and recite them. And
visualizing.
Yeah, mentally I was here in the intro, mentally in the middle of the pitch I was here, and then during the closing I'm in the kitchen or something, right? So like whenever I'm on stage or like pitching to the Sharks, I'm like, all right, I'm over here by the door saying the intro, right? I'm over here in the living room, I'm saying,
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then I'm now by the kitchen, let's finish this stuff, and then they go to work, right?
Yeah.
And then in the restroom I had like all the frequently asked questions, numbers in my head, and like it was just, you had to know everything about the company, and that room was literally like all the information of grind. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
But
that's
like
crazy.
Whenever I went on Shark Tank, I was like, all right, it's all in my head. And just go out and pitch.
How long was that whole process? 'Cause I know when we watched the episode, it's probably like 10, 11 minutes or so. How long were you actually in there for?
About 45 minutes to 50 minutes. Yeah.
So you was in there going.
Yeah.
And I know you were saying that it's not scripted, it's not made up, this is like the real deal. I mean, you said you went through 7 interviews and probably making sure that you're legit and whatnot, and that you're ready. And you're in there, you're talking to Mark Cuban, I think A-Rod was on there, a couple other people. When you walk through them doors, talk to us about how you were feeling, and like, you know what I'm saying? Was there any type of rehearsal before that? It's just like, no, just walk to the doors and go?
Yeah. I mean, you do a walkthrough, and this is the X that you stand up.
Okay.
And you see the room, but that's like 10 minutes before the actual thing.
Did you meet anybody beforehand? Okay.
Oh, I mean, the executive.
Right. But none of the Sharks.
No. But it's like playing like hooping. Like I remember we played Yates when they won back-to-back championships. They're blowing people out by like 100 points.
Damn.
Radio, like 97.9 The Box would be like, yo, Yates is blowing everybody out. Is this ethical? You know, we had to play him. Yates and I'm a freshman. So I'm a freshman on varsity playing the 2-time.
They were the Sharks.
They were the Sharks, yeah. And yeah, I went out there and I had my little 12, 15 points. I did great as a freshman. We lost by like 6, 7 points, you know, which everybody else was getting blown up by like 50, 80. So you had to like get in this mindset of like, you're not scared. You have to perform and go. Like there is no reverse gear. No. It's just like you go and drive and put a lock on it, and that's it. You know, and that's how it was on Shark Tank. It was just like go, ain't no reverse. So if you ever have that hesitancy, you got to like take that out and like get rid of it. You got to kill that hesitancy. And I think that's the key for having that confidence and just going, just like not letting nothing stop you. It's kind of like do or die, but I mean, most of the time, you're not going to die. It's just kind of like the human instinct that you have.
For sure.
Of like fear, you know? So I think once you kill that fear, you straight.
I love that. So for the people that didn't see the episode, and we'll link it in the description of this podcast for you guys to check out, what was your intention going in? What were you seeking? And what were the results of the episode?
I mean, first, I wanted to go out and not be embarrassed, right?
Okay. Fair.
Beat up and eaten by the Sharks, right? So I had to know my stuff. I studied what successful.
Did they hold that thought? I don't want to interrupt you. Did they ask you anything that was out the norm, or that you just caught you off guard, or were you prepared for everything?
No, there was like 2 or 3 questions that were like off guard, but like I reverted back to the research that I did about successful pitches, and you know, obviously Shark Tank has been around since I was little, so I was like, there's tons of people that have done it and failed and succeeded. So I studied which ones failed and succeeded, and saw what they did wrong and what they didn't do wrong. So like all the interpersonal skills that you have as like a person, when you go out, are you smiling? Are you engaged with your hands, and like, are you controlling the room? Because there's 5 billionaires or millionaires up there, and this one's talking to you at the same time as this one, and this one's asking you another question. So you have to control them and just be like, you go first. Hold on real quick.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
And they respect that as an entrepreneur, because they're like, okay, then you got to stay doing this day. So when I did that, because it happened, and I did it.
They just all start talking, and you just got to like,
just like, hold on. You go first. What'd you say? And they're like, oh, okay.
Shows your composure.
He's a leader.
Yeah.
You know, he's leading us. And like, I'm a bet on him. So that was a thing like that really helped. Going out and smiling as soon as I went up there, they were smiling. I like this kid already. Like, he's smiling. Like, he knows the platform is big and he's ready. You know, confident, speaking loud. Think I messed up, and they helped me. You know, but nobody saw on TV. And they were like, they'll cut it out. Go again. Yeah. All right, cool.
That's what's up. That's dope. That's dope.
Like, but the way I came out, it was just immediate. They're like, okay, he's ready. He's here. He's energized. He didn't come out like, you know what I'm saying? Like, awesome. All that stuff matters, you know? So I think that helped a lot in the pitch.
So what were, like I said, what were you seeking? Like, what was the amount of money? $250, okay.
5%. And I honestly just didn't want to, you know, be beaten up by the Sharks, and wanted to represent Grind well.
Because it's an opportunity, because you're on TV, whether you get something from them or not, people are going to see what you guys got going on.
Yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, I'm pitching the Sharks. I want a deal. But if I don't get a deal, as long as I represented Grind at Houston well on that platform, I was gonna be happy.
Yeah,
right,
for sure.
So, that was my goal, really. And I mean, obviously to get a great deal, but the end goal was to represent Grind well, whether we got there or not.
Yeah. So what was the deal that you guys ended up getting?
So the deal on the show was, oh man, I think it was like 25% for $250, something like that. But I don't know if, I mean, it's public, but like 80% of deals on the show don't go through. So I can't say as far as it did or didn't go through.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting kind of like outcome for sure.
Okay, cool. So talk to us post Shark Tank. You leave the show. You didn't embarrass yourself. You feel confident. What was next for you guys then?
It was back to
the grind.
Just back to reality.
Yeah.
And honestly, it in the air for about a year after I pitched.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Get back to work.
Yeah, get back to it.
Yeah. So
that's interesting. I wonder if,
like, if I'm not working for that year,
you get all them customers, like, where's the product at?
Yeah, like there's definitely companies that like just fizzle out within it because it's in there, you know.
Wow.
So it's just like you can't, you know, just bet on that. Like, you got to keep going, like figure it out, you know.
Yeah.
Produce the units, like, you know, all that good stuff. So that was really the focus, man. Is just shipping out the 200 orders that we had without Shark Tank, and just figure out how to ship those and deliver them. And
wow, I think that's crazy. So talk to us about, I know you got accepted, invited to Techstars, and then after that, you were named on the Forbes 30 on the 30 list. Talk to us about that process and what came out of that. I know when we were talking before we hit record, you know, you were saying it was a big deal, and like just so many different resources you got from the Techstars.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, Techstars felt like it was bigger than like Shark Tank to me. I don't think it I don't know if it impacted us more than Shark Tank or anything like that. But personally, like if I was like 21 or 22 and you were to ask me, do you want to go on Techstars or Shark Tank, I would probably choose Techstars.
Interesting.
Because Techstars is known, or Y Combinator, they were like known for like pushing out like massive companies like Dropbox, like Airbnb,
Wow.
like, and that was the type of technology company I wanted to be. And if you look at Shark Tank and the massive companies that have came out of there, they're not necessarily technology companies or like
products.
Like products. So I mean, I've always wanted to be sports technology and like inspire kids to go into engineering and software and engineer, just all kinds of stuff, right? So I think that's why I was kind of like, when I actually applied to Techstars when I was like 19, 20, and I got denied. I kept on pushing, and then when they came out with the Techstars Sports, I applied again and I got it.
Do you think if you would have, when you applied back then, you got accepted, you think you would have been ready for that?
Probably not.
Yeah.
No way. Yeah, because I didn't even have a product.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, to me, it's all in perfect timing. Can't be rushed. If you rush perfect timing, it's not perfect time.
Right.
Like, you'll be ahead.
Right.
So it'd be too soon or too early.
Yeah.
So I'm a firm believer of that, and I feel like Techstars, that positioning, that time frame was like perfect, because when we got into Techstars, it was right after Shark Tank, so we had a lot of good momentum. We had already produced, I think, definitely over 1,000 units and shipped them. And I think, like the wave of like Peloton and hardware consumer technology products, like up there.
Yeah.
Right. So we were put on that kind of level to say, hey, this is the Peloton of basketball, or this is and technology, trends and stuff like that matter. AI, a huge trend right now, right? I'm sure something else that, Web3 was a trend. Like, there's definitely technology trends that happen, and they come back and all kinds of stuff happens. But like, the consumer technology, hardware, fitness space of like at-home devices, like a grind machine or a Peloton or a tonal or a mirror, all those things are like high-priced items. They're tech-enabled, they're hardware, they're software, right? And we were kind of in that category.
Got you.
As we got into Techstars. So yeah, man, it was perfect time. It was really perfect time. And then Forbes came right after Techstars. It was kind of Shark Tank, Techstars, and Forbes. And man, I cried when I got on Forbes.
For sure.
Getting our family name.
Yeah, that's neat.
Forbes on the 30 list. And
you said there was like Devin Booker was in there. A couple other people.
Yeah, I was in the sports category with Devin Booker, and Jack Harlow was in the music one. Don Tolliver, the music one. I was in the sports one. It was just a really cool moment for me and my family to like be able to see our name in there. It was wild.
Did you come up here a little bit, or are you still?
I don't know, man. I think. I don't think I didn't go extremely high,
but it felt good.
Honestly, and I think this is important for people to know. I kind of went like down because I was scared.
Expectations?
I don't know. I was just kind of scared that like Shark Tank had just aired, and I got a lot of stuff out there. And when Shark Tank happened, I don't think I took advantage of it because I was kind of like, oh shit, like I'm not used to being here, like with this many eyes on us and stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to prepare for that. I mean, I don't even know how you would prepare.
I'm not prepared for that. And when Techstars happens, it was like work. It was like I was ready for that. I was excited. But and then when Forbes happened, it's the same thing. It's just like, oh shit, like I've never been up here. It's kind of like put your head down. I don't know if it's like where I'm from.
Yeah.
Like what I'm comfortable with. I don't know. But I do think that I didn't take advantage of those spotlights like I should have.
How should you have taken advantage of them?
I feel like I could have done like more content. I could have been like outgoing or out there, more extroverted.
Got you.
My introverted self, and just I don't know, man. It was interesting though, just to see now looking back at how I reacted to to events and things happening, I wouldn't have been. If I was to change anything, if I were to change anything, it would be to not be afraid of the big moment. Like, embrace them.
Yeah, embrace it.
Just as much as you embrace the struggles. Like, I'll embrace the shit out of struggle. Right, I'm comfortable. Yeah. I've been struggling my whole life.
Yeah,
I'm cool doing that. But like, I've never had success before, so I don't know how to handle that. I think that was pretty interesting, and I think now that I understand that, like, you gotta embrace it just as much as the success.
Embrace it, enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy the fruits of your labor. We work so hard for so long that at some point we got to take a step back and be like, look at what we built. Look at what we done. You know, like you said, you got emotional when you seen your family's last name in it. That's huge.
Yeah.
You know, when your son grows up and they see that, he'll be like, damn, like,
it's crazy.
My dad's him. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But speaking about family, man, transitioning a little bit about you personally, how has having a family impacted you as an entrepreneur and as an owner?
I think, man, I can't I have to be more disciplined with my time. So like when I was younger, I could just like stay up until like 8 o'clock at the office or welding, doing that, whatever. 10 o'clock, 11, 12, just stay up all night doing stuff, you know. But now it's kind of like, nah, I gotta tailor my day around Jeremiah, my son, and my wife, right? So that's a big part of like how it's changed. Is like, can't just, well, I've never wanted to, I guess my biggest fear, my real fear is not being there or working too much, missing actually missing the journey.
I think I heard a quote that someone said that the only people that remember how hard you worked are your kids.
Really?
Yeah, not your boss, your employees. Nobody remembers how hard you work when you get old. Only your kids. And it makes sense. Like, yeah, my dad was always at the office, or my dad was always working.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's crazy. That is crazy, man. Yeah. And one of my biggest fears is like not being there and embracing my son, or not being able to raise him the way I want to raise him, because I'm working. And I actually want to involve him, as much as possible. I don't know if that's the right way to go, but that's kind of how I want to do it, right?
That's for sure.
So it's definitely impacted, me, but I think it definitely in a good way.
Yeah, 100%. A little bit, diving a little bit more into yourself. What are like 3 non-negotiables for Thomas Field for you? What are like 3 things that non-negotiables
in what though?
Your personal life. It can be your personal life or business.
Man, non-negotiable.
It could be that time with your family.
I don't know, man. Non-negotiables. I'd say loyalty is a big one.
Talk about it.
Loyalty and trust. I'm real big on just being honest and open.
Quality relationships.
Yeah. Like I'm big on just authenticity and honesty and loyalty, and you being there during the hard times, and reaping the fruits of our labor. I'm huge on that. I really don't like when somebody just comes in for like moments,
clout.
Yeah.
Like
stuff like that. It's not. I don't move that way, man. I think that's a non-negotiable. I think definitely like my family time, or my family in general. Like, just like making sure the peace at home is always there. I'm really big on that. And the peace at grind.
That's important.
Negotiable.
It's important.
Yeah, man. I know recently we got broken into. Our warehouse got broken into 3 times a week.
Wow.
Non-negotiable. Like if I see you, it's on site. Non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Breaking our peace.
Yeah. It's a sanctuary right here.
Sanctuary,
Yeah.
you know.
And you said other young, you know what I'm saying, athletes go in there. This is where a place where they can be safe.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be safe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. So
no, I love that. Love that.
Yeah. So I think that's a big. Those are non-negotiables. Is my peace at home, my peace at work, and that loyalty and that trust that I have with you.
I love that. We can start wrapping this thing up, but before we do, talk to us about August 12th. Talk to us about that day. What does that mean? What's going on?
Hey, man. We got that grinding day. That's crazy. So we just got a proclamation in the city of Houston for our official grind day. So it's a day in the city that honors everybody putting in work. So
that's crazy.
As long as you're chasing your dreams and trying to be great and the greatest version of yourself, grind day is honoring you. You know what I'm saying? And the way we do it is through sports and technology, but the way everybody else does it and is grinding, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're trying to be the best version of yourself and you're working, trying to be great and trying to make a difference, you know, for whether it's for you or your family, for the world, grind day is honoring you. You know what I'm saying? This is your day to, like, you know, tell us about, you know, what you working on, what you grinding for, you know, what was your grind like? You know? So like that's what the day is, honestly, honoring. But again, grind is doing that through sports and technology and culture. And we're having a back to school event at our warehouse August 12th.
On the 12th, okay, cool.
August 12th, Saturday. And it's really like giving back to school supplies for kids, but there'll be stations. So station 1 will be like 3D printers and laser cutters where kids can make things.
Wow.
And actually see things come to life just from their head. Station 2 will be testing out all of our prototypes, whether it's jump ropes or agility ladders or all kinds of just different prototypes. Like, you know, have them test them, get feedback for our sake. And then station 3 is the grind station. So you use the shooting machines. We got the basketball court in the house. Go shoot, put up some shots, work out, play basketball. And then the last station is picking up your school supplies, just taking home. We're gonna have weeks out there. We're gonna have drinks and all that good stuff, music. You know, it should be a good fun event for back to school.
Raising Cain need to pull up on you with all that work.
To be a part of it. That's a great idea.
No, but I was going to say, I mean, it's so powerful for you guys. First of all, congratulations on Grind Day, but it's so powerful to have these kids from your city see someone that looks like them be successful, you know, coming up with creative ideas and different things that, like, look, basketball doesn't have to be the only route. Like, being a pro is not the only route. There's other things you can do. And here are some different opportunities for you that you can, you know, get involved with. So, man, I think it's just so powerful. Love that you're doing that. I love that you're inviting them into your space, into your sanctuary to see, like, yo, this is what's possible. You can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I come from where you come from. I look like y'all. We can do this.
Absolutely. 100%, man. So that's what we're trying to do, man. How do we inspire the youth and get them to think outside the box, even if, you know, inside the household, you know, you can't see outside that box. How does grind see that there's more possibilities out there?
Absolutely. And so before we head here, I always ask my guests, if you can recommend one person that needs to be in the Latin Wealth podcast as a guest, who would you recommend?
I got a few, man.
Okay.
I got a few. You want me to name them now?
I mean, you can name it. We can just connect afterwards. It don't matter. If you got a few, let's good. Let's connect afterwards.
You're 4.
Okay, for sure.
Really good.
There we go. With that being said, is there anything else that you want to tell the audience out there? Definitely let the people know where they can contact you, where they can, you know, website and all that. And we'll link it in the description of this podcast, but talk to people.
Yeah, man. My Grind Basketball, if y'all need any sports equipment, hit up grindbasketball.com. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. My personal stuff is Thomas Fields on all the platforms. That's Instagram. I don't have TikTok. That's right.
Right.
thomasfields.co is my website if y'all want to check out more stuff from me. But that's it, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all listening to this. It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate you once again. And as always, we'll catch you guys on next week's episode. Peace. And that's it.
Great, bro.
Yeah, cool. Appreciate you, bro. That was dope. Good meeting you, bro. Thank you for everything.